Hi, Nick Dogan, North State Law. We safeguard your professional license so you can get back to business. Today's question is, can an electrical company hire 1099 contractors? So the short answer to that one is yes. However, there is a lot of nuances that are that go into that answer, basically. So the biggest thing is the other question would be, is the person that I'm going to be hiring, are they licensed? If they're licensed, then you have to figure out, well, what license classification do they have for what particular job that they're going to be doing for me. If they're limited license, just make sure that the job doesn't go over the limited amount. Right now, it's cannot exceed $60,000 or 600 volts or 600 volts. If it's 601 volt job or it's $60,100, then that has gone over the limited license for the other person. If it's under that, they have the qualifications, they're licensed as such, they're going to be doing the work, they can be a 1099. That's not a problem under the board rules. So, and their rules are not 100% clear. If you look at their statute, I think it's 8743.1 talks about exceptions, and then that references what a bona fide employee is, and that goes back to their administrative code, which is 21 NCAC 18B.0306. Had to peek there for a minute. And so it does basically explain that if you are hiring a licensed electrical contractor and they're at the threshold for classification, then you're fine. Keep up with the 1099. They can go out to the job, have them. I would have them part of the contract with the person to whom you're doing the work or for whom you're doing the work, and just make sure that they are licensed. If they are a company that you're hiring as a 1099, make sure the company has a qualifier, make sure the qualifier is going to be out there supervising, and make sure the work is done correctly. Because look, the most important thing other than being compliant with the board rules is to make sure that the work is done correctly and accurately and is going to pass inspection, right? And it's done safely. So you don't want any of that liability falling back on you. Speaking of liability, you really want to, when you hire somebody as a 1099, a licensed general electrical contractor as a 1099, you really need to make sure that they do have insurance, they have workers' comp coverage, things of that nature as well. Because if something happens, it's not a bad idea to make sure that they have insurance as well as you having your own insurance. So check with them, make sure that they send you over some sort of proof of policy, things along those lines, and then proceed with caution at that point. Contracts are always well off to be written. So you want to make sure that you have some sort of written agreement with them and that it's understood in writing with the other party who is going to have the work done at either their residence or at their commercial site, and make sure that they're in the loop. It could be as simple on a contract as saying, like, we reserve the right to contract with independent contractors that are properly licensed within the state of North Carolina for XYZ, excuse me, XYZ work, just so you're covering yourself there. So somebody can't come back later and say, oh, well, I hired you guys to do it, and I didn't know you guys were going to sub this out. You could have some boilerplate language in your contract. It's probably a good idea so nobody's surprised to touch base with whomever is the owner of the property and ultimately is having the work done at their residence or commercial site and say, hey, we're a little bit backed up. I've worked with this person before, or this person came recommend it to me. Happy to have them meet with you. That person is going to be somebody that's going to subcontract and actually do the work. They're going to supervise everything. Want you to be in the loop and make sure you're aware of this XYZ, and you should have less of a problem if you're transparent with people. That's always good business as far as I'm concerned. So biggest thing is, if you are going to hire somebody as a 1099 electrical contractor in North Carolina, you want to make sure that they're licensed. You want to make sure that they are licensed at the specific classification level that the job is going to require. If they're unlimited, then fantastic. You can have them as a sub for as many jobs as possible, and you would be good. So that's the biggest thing right there. Make sure that they're licensed. Now, what if they're unlicensed, can they be hired as a 1099? The answer to that is a very definitive no. They cannot be hired as a 1099 contractor if they are unlicensed. Now, you can hire somebody as a W-2 that's unlicensed, and then the supervision falls back onto you as the licensee to make sure that you're properly supervising them, that the work's being done correctly, that permits are pulled under your name, and that the inspections are requested in a timely manner and passed in a timely manner. And if it requires a reinspection, that it's done in a timely manner. And then there's a reinspection at some point to correct the deficiencies in the work, and then hopefully it's passed. And that's the responsibility of the licensee who hires the unlicensed person as a W-2. So an unlicensed person cannot be hired as a 1099. That is a huge no-no with the board in North Carolina. So I hope that information was useful. I got a bunch of other videos on my website. You can also check out the blogs on my website, northstatelawfirm.com. A lot of other videos are actually on the YouTube channel. If you can't find what you're looking for and you have any questions, feel free to give us a call or a text at 919-521-8810. That is 919-521-8810, and you can get a free 15-minute discovery call with a member of my staff. I hope everybody has a fantastic day and keep the lights on in North Carolina. Bye-bye.